ఒక్క నిమిషం ఇవ్వండి. నేను బుల్లెటెడ్ పాయింట్స్ తీసి బయట
Oh,
పెట్టేస్తాను. సో దట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ఈజీ ఫర్ మీ టు
yeah,
set
I
the
started
context.
live.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no
started
problem, no
live. Yeah,
problem.
sure.
That
Yeah, you
should be
can
fine.
take time.
That should be fine.
Okay.
One second. Am I sharing my screen? No. Okay, you can. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
I think you can introduce till that. Hey guys, thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. Ravi, please do let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I see it now. I
Oh,
made
you
it
are
to
able to see.
screen.
Oh, okay, okay, cool, perfect. Thank you. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining this session. This is the seventh session in our series we are doing on Angular 12, and we were incrementally building the application on top of the concepts which we discuss in our monthly series. So today we are going to do few things. If we see our previous code, let me uh, show that. Okay, go into college web app and npm start. So if I go and look into this one, we have source folder, and inside the source folder we have components, and we have shared interfaces, professors, home, and employees. So what is happening? We will see that the bundling, when it creates this bundles, at this point of time, it is creating the bundle for all the pages or all the components, and some of the components which we might not use at all, but still it gets loaded. Until it gets loaded, we have to wait. So that is little bit of improvement we can do on that. So let's assume that a guy who's working in admin department, he will go only to the employees page. He will not go to the professors page. And let's assume the professors, they will go only to the professors page. Very rarely they go to the employees page. So it's like, even though you don't need it, but you will load that pages or that bundle. So what we can do is, and the organization also, if you come and see the modules file at this point of time, you see this, it's like a sarvaroga nivarni, single tablet for all diseases. You are loading all the components in the app module, and this routing also here, if you see that, this is taking care of all the routes. So how good it will be if we um, move those bifurcate and move those components into its respective modules, so that only if a user goes to that particular module, that will get loaded. If not, that modules will not get loaded. Let's spend few minutes on that. We'll do it. Today's session is, as every month session, today's session is also purely code jam session. We'll discuss on the concept and we'll go and modify the code, whatever is there. I copied the session 6 code here, and you can see that here. Here, if you see the bundle, whatever it has created, it created one big bundle now. Okay, we have this chunks like this. Let's keep this in a image so that we can come and compare once we complete this. I'll keep it in a MS Word file so that it will be easy for us to go and compare it 20-30 minutes later when we complete this one. So just wanted to show the difference. It is 404. Here is another. Uh, here is another project which I just created. Want to show the bundling stuff there, and then we'll convert. So three major topics for today. First is uh, modules, functionality specific modules, specific modules, and the second one is JSON server. The third one is services. These are the three major topics, and each will have uh, its own content and length, maybe 15-20 minutes each, or 20-20 minutes minimum it will take. And regarding the RxJS operators or observables, we'll just touch upon it. And October month is specially designed for completely on the RxJS. So today we'll touch upon that, um, along with the services. Why do we need services, dependency injection, and RxJS observables lightly. And then in the October month, we'll discuss in length on the RxJS. Okay. So this is one of the other project. I just want to compare before we proceed and start making the changes, what we are uh, achieving by this. And eventually we'll be doing the same similar thing. Our thing also will get converted into this similar model. Okay, will get converted into the similar model. And there is one disadvantage which I see in the current code, whatever I have it. I did not organize it properly. That was my problem. And because of that, what is happening is two modules will get loaded at this point of time, even though we don't need that, but still it gets loaded there. And that belongs to the home component. I'll explain you what does that mean. Is if you see this here at this point of time in the shade, I have top nav bar, footer, rating. These are the reusable components which we have created, and we have something known as a page not found. So page not found will come. We have seen that if some routing doesn't exist, we are showing the page not found route and that component. And because of that, what is happening is now two components, this component and this shade, both are getting loaded. Everything, I mean, at this point of time, technically, all the components are getting loaded. And let's come and see here for a moment. Let me increase the size. So see this, those vendor.js or whatever the files which this is not the right comparison, but just wanted to show you quickly. So whatever the components which are there, which is loading, and now you can see this. There are something we are seeing as a lazy chunks. So here you can see the products module is 355 kilobytes, and the home module is 31 kilobytes, and the demo module is 18 kilobytes, and servers module is 13 kilobytes. So that we will see here in action. Here, if you come and see, this is for 2022. Whatever I'm doing here, we will come and revisit that in 2022. If I see this, initially it loads only the home module. You can see that when I go, and if I filter it by star.json or by .js, you can see that at this point of time, only module it loaded is the home module, which you can see here. It has loaded this module, home module. It didn't load products, demos, or servers. So now I go to this demos. Now you can see this, it has loaded the demo module. So it initially it loaded 13 kilobytes, now it loaded 18 kilobytes. So it's faster. So I'm sorry, I'm having sore throat. Just give me 1 minute, I'll have a glass of water. So As I was mentioning, this is for the next year. Preparing the demo now. Okay, after that we can see that home and demos has been loaded. So now if I come to servers, it has loaded the servers module. If I go to products, so it spins for some time because I didn't start the JSON server. It spins for some time and it throws an error message saying that uh, the server is unavailable. So at this point of time, we are not focusing on the API part, but to simulate that, we will use a JSON server. We'll come back to that one. So initially, for the next 20 minutes, we'll focus on reorganizing our code left, right, and center, break it, nothing will work, and we'll spend 15 to 20 minutes decent time to organize that into a proper modules. Okay. As I was mentioning, this is purely the code jam session. We will break and nothing will work, and slowly we will make it work. Okay. So without further delay, and my apologies that have time to I didn't get a time to update it, but I will update the notes little later. But you will have the source code available in the same folder where we used to previously have this in Vichy Pylor speaker series, Angular Hyderabad session 7. This is a 7 of 12 sessions what we discussed till year end, and then we'll start the Angular 13 series next year. Uh, okay, that's the plan. Let's go here. Right. So now, as I was mentioning, the space not found technically does not belong here. That belongs in home. Okay, that belongs in this home component. So let's start creating it. I will go to, now that we understood this, I will minimize and we will start step by step. Okay. So the first thing is we need to create the module and the routing specific to home. So let me grab this and I will add Byron so that it will not create the files. We will see that what is happening, and then only once we are satisfied that this is the desired output what we needed, then we'll go and add that. So let me execute this ng generate module component slash home. That means it will come here, and I'm saying that home, it will create a home module. Sorry. And I'm telling that include that in app module, and let's do a dry run. We'll see that what files will get added and modified. So let's wait for this command to get executed. Okay. Okay, we see that it is creating the home module.tsa over here in this folder, and also it is updating the app module. Let's go ahead and execute this. Okay, that it has created. And the next thing is this should be home. That routing shouldn't be in. And another thing is we should have our own routing. So that has to go get updated in the home module, not in the app module. So it has got its own routing and it has got its own module where we are adding in those components, which belongs to that particular functionality. So we see that it has created a routing file as well as it is adding in the respective module. So you can see that here is the routing module and here is the home module. Okay, so now it will be very simple. Our life will be very simple. We can go ahead and start bringing in those things. Now things will break left, right, and center, folks, but we will stitch everything. Don't worry. The first thing is we'll go and add this one home. Okay, we need the home routing module. and afterwards we need dashboard, uh, we need other, we need to bring in the pages from different folder which is there in shared. We'll bring it just a moment. Things will not work, that's fine, we are going to fix that. Okay, so inside, okay, inside home we only have dashboard. We need this about us and other two things also. We'll bring in those things, just don't worry. I'll bring in these things. The common module doesn't exist. Okay, at this point of time I think it will still work. Okay, so now we have only the home and dashboard. So let's create about us ng generate components slash home slash about us. We have this about us and contact us. Okay, and the space not found should technically go here inside home. So we have dashboard, we have about us, contact us, page not found. All these pages are available. So let me save this. Things will break, but we will fix it in few minutes from now. Okay, don't worry, let it break, but we will fix that. So let's go and uncomment this. Okay, there are two about us. We have the contact us. What is the spelling? Contact us component. Is this not the spelling? Okay, we can. Oh, there are two contact us. I'm sorry. So this is there, and page not found. We didn't use it. Now that we'll add this to our routing. So now that what happened is we have all these pages and we have defined their route. So what we will do is we will export the router module. We will do only these two things. Will not do rest of the things. We will go ahead and we'll export the router, and also all the routes which we have defined will be here. Okay. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. Technically, this should belong to other place. I'm in the wrong window. Sorry for that. Let me go to this routing. We don't need this because we are currently here, and we'll bring in this route. Okay, and only these two things will be in the routing module. Yes, we are saying that we're exporting the router so that all these routers will be exported to the other modules which are using uh, this module, home module. So simply we have four routes: dashboard, about us, contact us, and page not found. So all these things we are bundling inside the home component. Oh, sorry, home module. This is the functionality, we are calling it as home, and we are bundling these four components into this one. So each of these components over here are the components which is displayed as a page. We are not using any of these things component as a directive. Whereas if you see the shared folder, the top nav bar or the rating component or the footer component, these are being used as a directive. It's not being shown based on the route. So I have moved all those uh, elements components which has been displayed as an element into the shared folder, and I'm bundling that separately. We'll come back to that in a moment, folks. So at this point of time we fixed the routes. Now the next thing what we have to do is we need to work on this module. So all these All these things which are here will bring in into the home module, and we'll see that home routing module is here. What does it say? We have, okay, cool, no problem. We'll start from scratch. We'll take this two things. We don't need router, we need common modules. We don't need this router, and we have this dashboard component. Dashboard component. So we need that dashboard component, and about us dashboard contact us will organize alphabetically. So about us contact dashboard, and the next thing what we need is page not found. Okay, and the next thing is we need to have these two, common module and home routing. We need this common module too. Okay, so as we did this change, we need to re-execute this one. So okay, because now this is a good thing. Now what is happening is we are declaring these modules here, like about us, contact us, dashboard, page not found. And again you can see that here also in the app module.ts. So we'll stop that. So we don't need dashboard route here, and we don't need page not found, that we are bringing in there. And here we go and first comment before we delete. First we'll comment that. So we don't need dashboard component to load here. I'm sorry. First we'll start from here. So we don't need dashboard page not found. And is there anything else which we are using there? Rating footer, everything will be here. Okay, and the routes we need to fix it in the routing. We'll fix that. So ng module, we will stop this, and because we have changed in the module, let's recompile that. So it takes a little bit of time. So you can see that uh, we have these things. Now we didn't load that one in our routing. Okay, that will be the next step. But at least we are in a state where it is compiling. So, but if you uh, go to anywhere where the page is not found, that functionality will not work. Page not found functionality, previously it used to work, now it will not work because we broke that. Okay, so that is a very simple thing, because now we need to go to the app routing module and load this home routes like this. Okay, so let me come back to app routing module, and here we will load that, right? And this also I am uh, deleting that. Is not found, we have it over here. So that route we have to fix it. That should be fine. We'll fix the route. If I want to go to dashboard, it is right now it is under home, and this page not found also, which is under home. We saw that inside the home routing we have the dashboard, about us, contact us, and page not found. So here in our app routing module, that's what we are saying, that hey, load all these routes which is from this module, and that will have a path of home. So if I want to go to dashboard, that is home/dashboard, home/page not found, right? So that's the thing. So now let's try compiling this. Instead of this initial chunks, I think it should create. Now see this, now it is routing because we fix that routing. So we went to dashboard. It is properly showing the dashboard. If I remove that, it goes to the dashboard. And if I go to any any page, any route which does not exist, that goes and shows the page not found. But let's fix rest of the things and we'll see that how it looks. So I'll remove this and I'll remove this. So at this point of time, we have employees, professors, and edits. These three things are there. So let's apply the same formula for that. Did we see the lazy chunks? I really doubt. Let's see that. Okay. Now that we have about us, contact us, dashboard, and page not found that we defined in this routing in home routing. That's this we think that this itself is an separate functionality. So we have its own routing and all the components which belong to this particular module, we are bundling it over here so that it becomes like a single unit. Now let's work on the shared one, which is a pretty simple one. Then we will start the application. So let's go and re-execute those commands to just create. We don't need routing because, as I was mentioning, the top nav var and the footer, they are being used as a directive. They are not being used as a page inside this spa, right? So the rating component, footer component, top nav var component, these are being used as a um, directives, as a custom HTML element. It's not being displayed as a page when we go to a particular route. So this is pretty simple. Let's go and we'll modify it here itself before we go there. Let's call it as ngGenerate module. I'm calling it as shared. Let's do, let's see that. Okay. So it has created one file called shared module and we have that in app module. So let's go ahead and create, we don't need this dry run. Let's go ahead and create. Okay, we got this shared module over here. And inside the shared module, we need to bundle these three. Okay, that's as simple as that. So if I go here and shared module, we don't need routing. Technically, there is nothing to route, right? So we all we need is these three folks, uh, top nav or footer, and this rating component. That's a shared module. Okay, top nav var, footer, and import rating component. These three things we need it. So I will call as footer component, comma, rating component, and top nav var component. Okay, we need those three things, and inside this import we need the router module also, because none of the links will work if we don't import the router module. So we need to bring in the router module also. So we need to bring in the router module, because what will happen is, I'll show you live, if we don't have the router module, what will happen. And also we need to export those three components so that we will be able to consume it from other uh, other components or other modules. Okay, so just give me a moment. So we will export those and we'll add this and then we will see. I just want to show you why we need to add that router component in a moment. Just give me a moment. Why does exports alphabetical exports? Okay, exports footer component, rating component, and top navbar. Okay, we have that, and we have import, and then we need this schemas block. I will bring in this schemas block over here. Okay, perfect. Now again, it is troubling us. If you place a mouse over, it says that appears in the ng module import, the app module itself has error. That means we have imported. If I execute this npm run, it says that some of these components has been imported somewhere else. That is in app module. When you do this in two or more places, so you don't need this top navbar, you don't need this footer over here, you don't need this one over here. Now if you come back here, this will be clean and green. All is well now. So the issue was that. Okay, so let's try see how our things goes well. Npm start. I mean, the organization will also help. Imagine multiple people want to work, like Ravi is working on services, I'm working on home component, someone else is working on a shared component, he's doing some enhancements to the star component, or he's doing, someone else is working on employees, someone is working on professors. So we can work. If you see this, this is like an indivisible unit. I can work here. All the files, whatever I'm changing here. Only thing I need to ensure is whether the common core interfaces or core services are not getting modified by one or more people, but this gives that advantage to us. Okay, so that's done. Let's see, in the app routing we have these three guys. We have dashboard, we have this, rest of these things are coming from there. And in this components also, let's go and start deleting this and these two and these two. Okay, so I think now it is much cleaner. Still we will do some more changes, we are not yet done. Let's see that our application still works. Let's give it a minute for this to do. Okay, so let's try to go here. It goes to professors, and okay, that's wrong. We need to route it to something. That was my mistake. Let me come back to top nav. Let me come back to the top nav, and here the dashboard, instead of hash, we need to have the routing. Okay, we need to have this router. I'm calling it as library or books, which the route doesn't exist. And here I'm calling it as trading, and this one I call it as students. These routes doesn't exist. Okay, so let's come in, and now we'll check that. If I go to, it's properly routing, and trading it routes us, and student it routes us properly. And when we go to professors, these routes are there, and employees, these routes are there, but this also will create into separate modules. So we have split everything into different modules, and we don't have any errors whatsoever. So that's pretty good progress at this point of time. Let's continue with our journey a little bit forward. Now I want to show you that piece. Why do we need to have this router module imported here? Imagine I am not importing this. Okay. So when I come in here, I click, none of the links will work. None of the links will work because if you see that, the rightmost click on that and go to inspect, and once you go to inspect, you see the html markup which it created. Okay, let me copy this. copy the element, total element I'm copying, I'm putting it into this notepad, and I'll come back and I will enable this router module. And now you see that I'll copy this. If I paste it here, so what do we observe between these two markups? So what do we see, that the ng reflect router link. So let's come back here. Let's learn a little bit of theory, not much. Let me go to this is shared module, that means stop navbar, and here this router link. Just take this router link and paste it over here and ask for help. So if you see that router link, so the router link is coming from which module? The router link is coming from the router. So that module has to be there. So without that module, what is happening is, see this router link, when applied to an element in a template, makes that element a link that initiates the navigation to a particular route. So without this router module, it is exported from the router module. So you need to have that router module in place wherever you are creating such kind of individual modules or a functionality specific modules, and you want this routing specific, you have to input this router module, because without that, even if you use that router link, that will not work. We have seen it in action. We added that link, but it is not generating that in the markup. I had a glass of water, thank you guys. Now understood this. So it didn't create these two elements, router link and href. It didn't do that. So that's what we needed. Okay, now that we are in a good position, now we can move a little bit faster and convert these two, employees and professors, because those are very small module. Professors, it has got two, employee, it has got one. Chalo, I'll stop this, because anyways, after changing the uh, modules, I need to regenerate. What I do is, let me create it here and then go and work on it. Let's call one as an employee and one as a professor. I'm calling it as employees, and technically that's a folder. Please ensure that you are having a folder, and this is under that employee routing, and this is for the professors module. We will do it here for the professors, and this one is again a professors, and this is not home. It should go to professors, and this one should go to employees. Right? Chalo. I think we are in a pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and paste this. Let's see what it creates. Why it's taking that much time? Okay, I bumped up the version. I will bump it up today also, bring it to 12.2.6. Okay, it has created employees module and added. So let's go here. Let's execute this. I'll execute all four. So it will be easy for us to complete all these things in one shot. Because for the first two modules, we spent a lot of time to understand what we are doing, how we are doing. I think now we need to speed up a little, not much, but I'll save all these things in the read-only, readme file, so it will be handy for you people. This is just a knowledge, because I spent hours together trying. I forgot to import that module, and it was not. Um, showing the links, and I had to spend 3 hours to figure it out. What did I miss? Okay, let's fix this. This is pretty simple. We have only the employee list. Okay, so let me first go to this here. And here one tip, guys. See, when I select any file, it is overriding my current tab. It is overriding my current tab. How do you know that when I select something, it should open a new tab or it should override the current tab? It all comes, you can see this, it is italics, it is somewhat slanting. Now if I double click that, it will become a straight alphabet, it's not slanting. Now if I select it, it opens in a new tab. So if you want the tab to be permanent, you need to double click that. So that if you see that it is in italics, that means this tab will get overridden by something if I click another selection. If I want that to be pinned there, either I need to double click over here or double click over here, so that will be there. Okay, just a tip which I learned it very recently. Yeah. So let me come to this routing and employees routing. So it's very simple. All we need is only one routing, that is employee list. So let me go grab this guy. First import him. uh, Import. Okay, we have imported this component. I don't need this at this point of time. And I definitely need this router. Let me bring in, I don't need common module over here. And you might need, suppose if you use it, I faced another problem there also. But please ensure that if you need it, you need to place it. If you don't, you can remove it happily. But ensure that all the modules which you're doing doesn't need it. Okay, so we don't need any of those things. All we need is employees list. What is that? Employees, this one. So there are, okay, that's in professors. um, okay, what is that route which I'm showing in? So we might need to, if I route this to employees like this, so it should directly route it, so I don't need anything here. And that will come in from here, and inside the declaration I add it. And inside, now inside this we know we need to add these two, right? So that's it. It's very easy to handle. Now when we come to employees module, we have this. Okay, we have the employee routing module. Apart from the employee routing module, if you compare with the home routing module, we need to declare that. Okay, and in the import section, you have common module and employee routing. Employee routing is where it has to route. So all we need to bring in this guy and put it in our declaration. So I come to this, add this guy, and employee list component will add it over here. Okay, now it is showing this red squiggly. That's because we have declared this guy over here. Let me stop this and stop this and come in here. And we don't need this employees module over here. And employees list, we don't need it. Okay, so let me delete that, so that we'll see whatever we want, we will have only those things. And in this routing also, I will go ahead and delete that, and delete this. So what we will do is we will create a new block with employees, and that should come from employees. employees.module, and this guy, perfect. So what we are telling is technically, if at all someone comes to a route called employees, that should load this employee module. We go to this employee module. That employee module has got the declaration of employees list component and common module and employee routing module. I go to employee routing module that sees that there is nothing after employees, and it will load the employee list. Okay, so I think we did a good cleanup. Let's try executing this npm start. If it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, again it is well and good, because that gives us an opportunity to go and learn what mistake we have done, and we can fix that mistake and learn from our mistakes. Let's give it a minute to compile. Employee list home. Now if you comment, see that the routing is pretty much very lean. Okay, we don't have we don't have that much of complexity. We'll remove these two also, and these two components will also go. Previously there used to be huge list over here, and there used to be very huge list over here. We will reduce that. You just need this employee professors. Did we already converted? Yeah, professors module has been already converted. So I need to bring in that. Oh, I need to work on it. I just created a file. I didn't start it, but that's a good thing. It's there. We will fix that one. So what is that it's creating? Okay, let's convert all, and then we'll see the benefits. Let's ensure that our routes still work. That's working. This is working, and this it works, and this it works, and this also it works. So we are still good. We don't have any errors whatsoever. So that's good thing. And the final phase, let's go and work on this guy. Employees, I will open the employee routing module and this routing module, and then employees module and this professors module. Okay, first we'll check this. What are the two things which it needs? It needs the professors list, and it needs professors list and professors edit professor. Two things. It just needs these two things. So let's go and import those two. Those are from the same folder. Okay, so that's the first thing. We imported that, and then we need to add this router. We did that over here right now, and the next thing is we need to define the routes for this, and again the same formula we'll use it when you don't, because professors is the one we'll add it at the main, and we don't do anything. And if someone says that edit, uh, we'll see that we're saying edit professors and professor id. So we need this professor id route. So professors is the main thing, main one here. It will not work. Let's let it be. Okay, that means it is professor slash edit and the professor id. So here we will load the edit professor component in this scenario. So I'll paste it over here, and then what we will do is we'll export the module and load the child routes. Whatever the routes which we have specified over here, we'll load it. It's as simple as that. So once this is done, let's compare. See, this nothing. We have this specific module. So inside this routing, we can go ahead and happily delete that, and we'll delete these two also. Okay, we'll come back and we'll fix it. But at this point of time, we deleted. Now it is pretty clean and very lean also. And now come back to this employees where the module we define. Similarly, if you come to this professors, we have that professors module is there. And apart from that, we need these two files. So we'll add those two files over there. And inside the declaration, we need the oh, we need this inside this we need that, and edit professor, we need that too, because this is already there. And one more thing is, sometimes if you don't have this, don't worry, place your mouse cursor on that and click on quick fix, so that itself will import it. Okay, that's second method. And the other method is, you start typing it. Okay, it shows that, just enter, it will add it. So there are few, these are the three tips, three ways you can do that. So in the app routing, we fixed it. Now we need to go and remove it from the app module. So the professor module is already there, so I'm removing these two, and come back and remove this from here. Okay, now see this, how easy and simple it is to add and modify. So we definitely know that if something is there, we just need to go add a route. If we add a new page to this module, and then we need to add it to the declaration, and if at all that has to be used in some other module, we'll put it in the export section also, so that anywhere which is needed, that will use it. So our final phase is to hook up this routing, then we'll do a check-in, then we'll come back and work on that JSON server and services. So this is a big functionality which we did it in a code jam session, professors. And okay, that's coming from the professors module. Now, right, so all the modules we fixed it. I'm still doubting one thing. Top nav bar, and professors. Oh, edit functionality we don't even have right now. Here, perfect. I think it should work. Let me stop, because we did. Ooh, did I slip something? We'll check that. We'll check that. If it is, working. Or now see this. Imagine a scenario. Each of this module. Let's come to this home functionality. We have 4 pages here. In home, we have 4 pages here. That means 4 routing. Okay, like each of this folder, if it is got 6 to 7 routings, so and you have five functionalities, so fives are like 25 to 30 routes, everything will be in app routing. Instead, we moved it to the functionality specific routing and its specific modules, so it will be easy for us to handle. So that's the thing which we did it now. So let me go. We'll ensure that we didn't break anything. And employees, we didn't break anything. share professors it is coming, and non-existence route. I'm able to route it back. This non-existence route it back, and non-existent route it back. Okay, perfect. So let's do this check-in, and we'll see that app module how it was now. See, these many things has been removed from that, and now we are loading only the modules what we need it. So we are not doing anything else. So let me uh, I'm saving this with initial version, and now we'll go to the next phase. The next phase is known as the JSON server. So let's spend couple of minutes with the JSON server, this package. So at this point of time, we are having this functionality. We are able to get the oh god, get the details, and we are able to display also in this 404. Let's come in here. It is it is showing. It is it's showing in here. Let's keep it. Let me do right mouse click and empty cache hard reload. Still there is some issue. It doesn't do the lazy loading. It didn't recognize this as a lazy loading, because the other project which I did, the sample project, it shows that lazy loading. Here it is not. I will definitely check that why it is doing that way. Let's spend 1 minute, not much. Okay, app routing. Let's check that app routing with our app routing. Did we have anything else? We can remove that. We don't need this common module here. I'll mute it off, and we have this, and only routes. Do we have anything in the declaration? We have only imports and exports. We don't even have anything in the declaration. Okay, don't even have anything in the declaration. So this is clean, and let's come back to this app module. Let's verify what is the difference between this and the other project which I did it. This demos where we have this. Let's see, we have the HTTP client module, and browser module is there, app routing, and the shared module. Oh, none of these modules should get loaded here. Right. These That's the mistake. That is the reason it was not creating this. We don't need this. I'm sorry. We don't need this home module here, because we are loading it dynamically to the router. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. Okay. That's how it is pretty lean, because it is getting loaded in the app module. So that's the reason it is not creating it. Okay. We need this ng module is there, and this app routing is there. Okay, app routing is there. Forms module, I used it. Did I use anywhere? But keep it. Let's keep that. Okay, perfect. This everything is there, and that HTTP client will include it here. HTTP client module. That's it. Now it should technically create the lazy chunks, because I we have changed the module better to recompile, so that it goes and sees that which modules are applicable and which are not, so that it can go ahead and create the respective modules bundles. See that now I can see that it has created the professors module, home module, and employees module. Now if you come in here, and you can see that initially it has loaded the professors module because that's what we were on. So let me go right mouse click on this and say empty cache hard reload. So you can see this home module was loaded. Now if I go to professors module, so it has loaded the professors module, and now I click on that employees module, it has loaded the employees module. So now we have converted our application to lazy loading modules. Okay, that's pretty good progress. Okay, thanks. So now what we will do is we will go to the next phase of our uh, thing, the second piece. We have this API now that the entire content for these screens both are coming from an hard coded object inside our TypeScript file. Wouldn't it be nice to have the API? Now, who's going to create an API for us? That's a other question. See, at this point of time, I'm telling that okay, if I want an employees list, I am hard coding this object here. Beautifully, I have the object and I'm going to display that. But who's going to create it? So there is a guy called JSON server who is coming to rescue us. So let's see that. What does this JSON server do? So it creates a fake REST API within few seconds. Within few seconds, it creates a REST API. And I have installed this JSON server. All we need to do is we need to go to a location where I'm calling it as core here. Actually, technically, I should create it in a separate folder. Let's do that just to be in sync. Let me go and reveal in File Explorer. Here, let's me call as I'm calling it as College Web API, and inside that I'll create a folder called Data, and inside this I'll open that Visual Studio. Right, let's create uh, data store.json. You can name it anything, guys. There's nothing hard and fast rule that you have to spelling mistake. I'm sorry. Okay, data store. So let's follow what this guy is doing and then we'll come back and modify ours. So what this guy is telling that we need to install and we need to have a file, and you can copy this here. Whatever the data, this is like a table. Post is one table, comments is one table, profile is one table. So similarly we'll have employees and professors. These two tables will be there. These are the two records. And what we have to do is we have to come back here. At this point of time I'm in the same file, same folder, JSON hyphen server. Okay, watch watch data store.json. Just type this, and once you type it, we'll see what happens. It says that, hey, I have loaded this, and here are the resources. So it says that this is a main API. If you go to this localhost 3000, localhost 3000, it says that if you come here, it shows this message. Again, it is giving the same information where it has already told you go to post, go to comments, and go to this one. Let's go and click on the post. All the posts which exist, one record which exists. Suppose if I want to bump that up now, I can come in and bump it up to second. I'm calling it as that, right? So now if I go and refresh it, it shows the two things. And if I want to go and search the key piece ID, so I can say ID1, so it gives the first record. And if I go and search for ID2, it gives me the second record. So with this, what is happening is we don't need to write any API. Whatever the functionality which we need, this guy is already supporting it. Like whatever you want in comments. Like suppose here in our post, if I want to search the title JSON server 2, Well, we can do that. So what we can do it is we have to go a little deeper into that here, and I'm saying that title should be this one. So it has picked up the first record, second record, and now it will go and pick up the first record because those are the two things which we have given. So now we understood the basics, a little bit of fundamentals of this one. What did we understand? JSON server is a guy which simulates the server or any API. So what is the source for that to give us a data? The source for that to give us a data is a JSON file. And inside the JSON file, we can go and hit the endpoints, how many tables or how many objects which you added. Each of this table, you are representing it as an array. That means each of this will be represented as a data or a row. So if you have two tables, you that means this is a database. db.json acts as a database, and post and comments acts as a table, and each individual element inside that object is representing as a record. Okay, and if you go to the endpoint, you'll get everything. And whenever you have id, you give route parameter slash that id, it picks up that id. And we have already seen that here IDs are there, so we can directly add as a route parameter, and it goes and brings in that particular data. Now suppose if you want to go deep into any of these things, like we have seen the title, so in that case you need to add the title JSON server. That means it's going to pick up the first record, and if I am adding the query string with the title too, it's going to pick up that. So I think this is quite good enough for us to know like what JSON server is, and this is the npm package over here. And how can we add data or a database? Technically, add a data store there, and inside the data store we have added a JSON file. And how many tables do we need? We'll add that. Okay. Technically, let's try converting this guy. Okay. So let's go, and this is an object. We call it as employees, right? Okay, I added that as an employees, and take this entire JSON object and drop it over here. Ro- Okay, so let's bring object by object. And I'll replace this with this. That should solve much of my problem. And rest of these objects I will. Okay, takes 2 minutes time, guys, not more. We have the objects. It's pretty easy. The shortcut is select and add this. Visual Studio Code will take care of adding it. Okay, we have that object. Let's try this employees. We'll convert rest of the stuff too. Okay, we got the record of Mithun Nair. Let me bring in rest of the two folks, George Reddy and Manpreet Singh. I'm bringing these two folks in. Don't worry, we'll convert them. We are replacing 28 instances, and this is pretty simple. Perfect. Perfect. So the second object is ready. That's the third object. Oh, it will be ready in next 2 minutes. We'll have this full name, picture URL, department, age and address, street, city, state, rating. That's it. I think we are pretty good. Let's come back over here and refresh. So we see this. If I want to go and figure it out, um, A102. So it's bringing in George's record. And if I go route parameter A101, it brings in Mithun Nair. And as we discussed, if I want full name of Mithun Nair, so it brings that guy's record. Okay, so we did this full-fledged API kind of thing. So let's focus on this uh, before we jump into professors. At least we have one data which we can dynamically bring in. Okay, so let's go back to the application. Let's break and then make. So let's go to employees at this point of time. Uh, Employees is coming in, it's spinning and it's giving us the data. So what I will do here is in our API, in the component, I go and comment this, right? Commented this. It spins, but it doesn't find anything. Okay, that object is null because that's the code we have written. So only if it is employee list, do this. For each of the employee list, do this. Okay, that's, see this, professors, it still comes because we didn't remove that. But employees, you can see that we have removed and it is showing. And you can see that, folks, it's all lazy loading, right? So that's pretty good. We have spoiled it. Now we can come back here. Again, there is different school of thoughts whether you want to have the interfaces, pipes, and services, everything into the same module specific folder, or you create a core and start using in different places. Different school of thoughts. So I would like to go ahead and create one service here itself for today, and then we'll improvise in our next session where we are discussing about the RxJX operators. We'll bring in that, and I'll add more code and keep it ready for us to go ahead and view that. So for the time being, what we'll do is we already have interface here. So we have components, we have interfaces. At the same level, we'll have this services, right? Ng generate service, we call it as services, and employees. Let's do a dry run, please, folks. Always use this dry run just to understand what it is creating. So we know that it creates, we can go delete and again do it, but again, it might go and update some of the modules or routing. It's just unnecessarily pain. So just use a dry run. Okay, we understand that it is creating inside the app, it is creating a folder called services. You can see it over here, and it creates an employee service. I think we this is what is desired. We'll go ahead and add this. And perfect, we have the services over here. And let's spend few minutes understanding the Angular services. It's not over here in this tutorials. Tour of heroes, services. So see this, why services? So when we need to fetch some data or save some data, do some kind of interaction. So we need this service. Okay. And um, and the next important point is, how do we create? That's what we have seen, that ng generates service, this creates service. And what is this um, decorator? At the rate injectable decorator, at the rate injectable service. Okay. So when we add this injectable decorator, that marks the class as one of the participate one that participates in dependency injection system. That means if you create a service and you can tell that service whether the service will be available to one particular module or to the entire application. So if a service which is very specific to a particular module, you can mark it in the module, or you can specifically add it to the app component and use it in different modules, or mark it as a root, so that that will be available in all the places. Okay. So here, if you see this, provide the hero service. Okay. So you must make this hero service available to the dependency injection system. So how do you do that? You can see that it is added by default. The Angular CLI registers the provider with the root injector for your service by including the provider in the metadata. So that means what will happen is, we will have this particular service. We can inject it at any place, in any component, wherever we need it. Wherever we need it, we will add it. Okay. Wherever you're injecting, you can directly put it as a private hero service and service. We'll come back and see all those methods in the next month's episode session, whenever we are doing. Today at least we'll make our hands dirt, see that how it works. So that's what we will target today, right? So that's one more thing. And the other thing is, we will call this method where it goes and brings in the content in the ng on in it. And that will return the observable. So this observable, again, we will go ahead and discuss in depth in the next month. It's full 2 hours or 2.5 hours of session will be on this RxJX, the services, how the things are coming. So observables are lazy push collections of multiple values. So what will happen is, you will have this observable, and it is a promise that it is going to return you some value after some time. And you need, what is a subscription? A subscription is an object that represents a disposable resource. Okay. That means when you are getting an observable, you can subscribe to that. Okay. Once you subscribe that, inside this subscription you can do multiple things. At least as a first cut, we know that we can do three different things. What that is, when I come into this products list, here you can see that inside this uh, inside this observable, we can do the subscribe. And each of the subscribe uh, has got three things. One is this next, and is error, one is complete. We'll go to the depth of this in the next episode, but I just wanted to show you, when some method is throwing an observable, you can subscribe to it. We'll discuss about the async, so that it will handle the subscription and destroying everything. But for today's episode and next month episode, we'll go this way. So we need to write a service. Let's see that, and come back and we'll add for us. So you can see that we have the service. So inside the service, what you will do is, we will add this HTTP client. And that HTTP client, you're invoking this get, and that, so it constructs a get request that intercepts the body as a JSON object and returns the response body to this one. This itself is a bigger topic, but just we'll learn how much we need it. So we'll go and get this. So that is returning this observable. You can see that at the last, it says that observable over here. We can click on this, get into this one. You can see that uh, parameter is this one, and other optional parameters you can send. URL is must, and options is optional. And you can see headers, context, observe, params, these are optional. Report progress, this everything is optional. But what it returns a observable, a generic observable. Okay, if you are sending in string or array or boolean or null, undefined, or any object, you can specify that what that object is. You can see that, right? So here what we are doing is we are saying that this will return I product DTOs observable. You can see that. That's the one we are saying, that convert that into I product DTO. And then on top of that, you're doing the pipe. So let's go ahead and understand this pipe. So these pipes are, you can do, inside this pipe, you can do multiple operation. Okay. This a general pipe, I mean the pipe without any parameters returns that observable of T, and a pipe with one function operator, it returns that particular thing. So like that you can do a transformation whatever is needed, but we'll come back and discuss. At this point of time, let's park that concept, but we can go ahead and add this pipe, and we'll come back and we'll learn that what is this error handling and other things. But let's start making small changes, so that whatever the data retrieval part we have at this point of time here, uh, here we are calling internal method with a set timeout, and that is bringing in this content. Let's change that. Okay. So what do we need it? I am blindly copying all these things at this point of time to this guy. Okay. The next thing is we need the interface. Okay. We need the interface. Where is this interface? Is over here, and that was employee I employee DTO. That's a data transfer object. Okay. So we need to import this guy. Import. Okay. We have imported that guy, and also we need to import the environment also. But at this point of time, for today's thing, we just hard code it, the base URL path. But technically, what we will be doing is I will update the code and keep it ready. So technically, we'll come back over here. This is how it will be. And in products, you need to point to a different location. But this is a development environment. We will have this URL. Like, what is the base URL? So I create one constant. I'm calling it as base URL, and go ahead and add this, the base URL. But next episode, next month, when we are discussing about the RxJS operator, we'll change all those things, right? So coming back to this, we have had it, and at this point of time, we don't need this options. What I need is this constructor over here, okay, and we need one method to bring in all those guys. We need this error handler also. Technically, we have only one method, so I'll paste it, then we'll change. So this is get all employees. Okay, get all employees, and we already have this I employee object. That's what we will return, that observable over here, right? So that will be the endpoint will be, see how simple it is. Retrieve all. We don't need we don't even we don't even need to wait for someone to give me the API. All we can depend on this JSON server, use that JSON server, and uh, retrieve the data. Okay, so I think that's it. The base URL is there. I think we are a little bit ready. At this point of time, we don't even need this HTTP headers. We will go and remove that. I think the service is ready. Now what we need to do is this employee service we need to inject inside this constructor. So how do we do that? We do that uh, private employee private employee service, and that is this guy. And again, the multiple ways you can do it from here, or you can do it from control dot, or you can do it right mouse click and select the bulb over here. We have seen those couple of methods previously. So we have this employee service. So inside this ng on in it, I will comment this. Okay, and we already have this. We will this dot employee list dot get all employees, and whatever this sends, we need to do a subscribe, and this subscribe will take two things, three, I'm sorry, next, and it takes error, arrow function. Okay, and complete, three functions at minimum, a best minimum we need three to subscribe. Okay, so what should happen in the next? That means you're getting some data when it is the when it is coming into the next block here. That means you are getting the data so that you can do a typecast it. I mean, you can call it as whatever the name you want. I'm calling it as response, and it is I employee DTO array, right? That's what the response it is coming. Then I can say that this dot employee list equal to response. Okay, let's give that a shot. We'll see that is our server running, or we were running in a separate. It's there. Okay, it's there. Let's give that a shot, and then we can do the error handling. See that? You're seeing this spinner for fraction of second. So you want to see the spinner for little longer. What we can do is we can shut down the server and restart that, the JSON server. I can shut down this JSON server and again go back and start this. So now it is in a cold mode. Will do a little bit warm up mode. See that it spins for a second. That means you can see the network thing. It would have made a call to this JSON server. See that it took 8.758 milliseconds. So it's much faster. So you are getting the data. So all the spinners and everything is there. Here also you can see the spinner for a fraction of second until the data is there. So we have converted that. And what if we don't have the server running? Real time scenario. We spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. So we don't know what is happening and how much time it takes. It just spins and spins and spins. So we will what we will do is we'll go and add a console line here. uh, Console dot guard. Okay, I take this HTTP error response, and let's display JSON dot stringify what we are getting in as part of the error object. Let's go back. Let's go back to this guy. Napkin. Okay. So this is the error handling. I mean, again, we'll come and we'll definitely do revisit this. But today we want to do some kind of hello world stuff uh, where we'll see this in the console. See that? Yeah, this is the one. So you can see that entire object is getting printed. So again, we'll do an, it is spinning, and see that here, error. Let's write error occurred. Let's wait. So we see that you're getting this message, and this is the object. Did we parse it properly? I really doubt it. Why it's not showing all these things? The entire object. Because the HTTP error response will give you, it gives a lot of things. It gives you status, and it gives response headers. It gives a status, and it gives an error. Yeah, I need to print that error object. Oh, let me go here. I'll do stringify dot error. Now this gives more information. What was the status code? And what is that? That error object is HTTP error response type. And that object will definitely have this ID string. Yeah. Connection refused. It will populate that error object, HTTP response error object, it populates. Maybe in this scenario where the server is down, it's not populating, but it should definitely. Uh, Unknown error. Yeah, that's what it is giving. It says that unknown error, but it gives more information. HTTP failure response for this one. Okay, it displays the error code is 0. Yeah, this is what it is showing. The entire object is this one. But if you, when we do integrate with the real API in next month, after that, I mean, in 2 months down the line, then we'll see those real time objects. So we know that when it comes, this is what it is the problem. So why the spinner is spinning? So it says that the employee list, if the employee list, not employee list, that means if the employee list object is either undefined like this, it's undefined at this point of time. So what we can do is to stop this. It's not a right solution, but it's like just like a stop gap. Okay, I'm saying that this, that means I'm giving you an empty object. That means without rows. That's not a good thing to do. So it stopped. Previously it used to spin. Previously it used to spin. Now See that? To stop that, we are doing it. And apart from that, what we can do is we can show this error panel. Wow, what happened? Okay, so here we have the spinner. Just before that, let's show that, and let's create a new string. And this error message, we will this dot error message. Let's uh, take that message. Let's see. We'll take step by step. We are understanding how things work and how to fix it. So we didn't show that panel. We didn't show that error panel, or else I'll write. Okay, it's over here. Okay, maybe previously also it showed. I don't know. We will. This is not the right placement of that. Go above. Okay, right. So that's being shown. And now let's try to retrieve it from this object. Error object dot status text. We'll see what it returns. Now it's not returning that. Let's send dot. But this is not the good thing to do. Whatever I'm doing, it's only for the demo. Please never ever do this, because that will give the internal details, and hackers will be more than happy to get these pieces of information into their plate. They'll be thanking you for doing this job of letting them know something gone wrong. So please never ever do this, whatever I'm doing at this point of time. Okay, this is just for us to understand the internals, how the things works and how we handle, right? So you can see that it's coming in, it spins, boom, it's gone. And now we can come back to the JSON server. I will start that. Now we go to professors. We come back to employees. Perfect. See that? So we are here, college. We are here at employees. We are here at professors. And when the server is down, come to employees. We spin and we show an alert box saying that, hey, something has gone wrong. Okay, just to give some flavor. I don't know, people might like or they don't like, but just to add a shadow to this. Little bit of styling, cool. So this is what we achieved. So I'll go ahead and add two more things. I will do the facelift of this to add this one notification. We'll come back little 2 3 months down the line on the authentication piece. Definitely by December will come. In between, we need to discuss reactive RxJX, and then we need to discuss the reactive forms. So today, what we did is I'll just go ahead and add these two menu options and two menu options, and then focus on our products module and add this, just a beautification, nothing else, folks, just like a simple beautification. It's a dummy, doesn't have anything, but I'll just add it to do a facelift and change the color, see how best I can go ahead and do that, and add this, add two more modules, so that will do. And next month we will be focusing on purely the RX checks. We'll see that how many operators uh, we will be able to discuss. We'll see that what these observables are, what is the subscription, and few of those operators, because we'll not have that much time, but we'll see how best we can access those one. Because in this example, you can see this off is creating an observable, and you do a pipe, you do the transformation using map, and then we have seen that when we went into the pipe, where was the pipe? You see that it does a transformation and it returns an observable. So what you're seeing, that it does a transformation and it is returning an observable, and that to that observable we are doing the subscription. Okay, so we'll discuss these things. So then we'll discuss a little bit more on the service side. uh, why we need to do service, what is dependency injection. We'll go a little bit more theory. In the meanwhile, I'll go ahead and do the facelift of this current application and create it with the folder 8. This month's session, then I'll convert this and do a facelift of this application to match something similar to this with the branding. I just change this branding from this dark color to this color, do some little bit of facelift. Okay, thanks so much, Ravi. Back to you, Ravi. Folks, this is the place where you will have the code. I will give it to Ravi so that Ravi can publish it.
Yeah, sure, Swami, I'll do that.
Cool, Ravi. Anything else for us, Ravi?
No, nothing else.
So
Yeah,
no
thank you.
queries.
Yeah, yeah, no questions were
Oh,
posted.
okay, cool then. So let's get a 2.5 hour session purely on the RxJX operators in our next month's episodes, so that we
Okay.
can get a lot of fundamentals. Then other month we can speak on the CRUD operations. So that
Sure.
involves the services, form, reactive forms, and operators. Then December we can do the authentication piece.
Yeah, sure, Swami.
Okay. Thanks, folks. That's the plan. So stay safe. Have a good rest of the weekend. Bye, Ravi.
Bye. Thank you. Talk to you next month.